Secretary, will you please take the roll?
Yes. Nancy Borchard, excused. Dennis Browning.
Yes. Yes.
And oh, sorry, you might not have been here. I need to know the city and state where you are participating from. Oh, Saginaw, Michigan.
Saginaw, Michigan.
Okay. Zenobia Dallas.
Present. Saginaw, Michigan.
Bruce Gale.
Present. Saginaw, Michigan.
Christina Jones, excused. Jack Nash.
Present. Saginaw, Michigan.
Bill Ostash.
Present. Saginaw, Michigan.
And then I wasn't thinking, do we have our newest member?
Present. Saginaw, Michigan.
Thank you. I'm so sorry, sir. I completely forgot to write down your name. Could you remind me, please?
It's Brandel Adams, Brandell Adams.
Yes, awesome. Thank you and welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Vice Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from August 5th, 2020. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Support.
It has been moved and supported to approve the minutes from August 5th, 2020. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the approval of minutes from August 5th, 2020, please stipulate that by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The minutes from August 5th, 2020 have been approved. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. The agenda for this meeting has been approved. The next item on the agenda is new business. The function of the board is to provide zoning flexibility. The action of the board can be an interpretation, which involves an interpretation of the zoning code text or a zoning district boundary. We may also issue a variance, which is an appeal to vary from the strict application of the zoning code. The meeting is videotaped. It is important that only one person speak at a time and that the audience observe respect for the speaker. When the appeal in which you are interested is called, please identify yourself and allow the board a minute to review the material, after which you may give your name and address to the secretary. After the appellant's presentation, anyone interested in the appeal may come forward, give his or her name and address to the secretary. Please make your comments brief and to the point. All questions should be directed to the board and not to the appellant. The board will discuss the appeal, vote, and continue to the next appeal. An affirmative vote of 2/3 of the board shall be necessary to decide in vote of an appeal. The action of the board is final. The only relief is through the court. Please be advised that use and dimensional variances expire in 6 months from the date of this meeting. Thank you. Are there any questions? If there are none, then the secretary will call the first appeal.
All right, our first and only appeal today is the request for a variance on parking standards for an expansion of a building at 1607 South Michigan Avenue. This is the Clark gas station. They have gone to the planning commission and gotten approval contingent on the approval from the Board of Appeals on zoning for this variance. And so this will be to allow them to have the same parking that they have right now, rather than expanding on their parking lot with their addition to the building. The expansion on the building is pretty small. They're going to have 240 square feet to accommodate office space and 230 square feet to expand on their cooler. And then they're also going to redo the entire facade of the building. There's no other change, no change in the amount of pumps or anything else with the property.
Thank you. We will now begin the public hearing to allow the requested variance exception of the zoning issue here. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Again, please identify yourself by your name and your address.
Yes, my name is Jamel, and my address. Do you want the home address or this location that we're?
Your home address, please.
3169 Hatherley Avenue, Flint, Michigan. Like she mentioned, all we're doing is just remodeling the side of the building, and just make it look better. We're not going no. The only thing is just we extending the cooler just a little. I can't remember what it was. 230 square feet. That's all about. That's about it. And then the parking, we want to keep it the same, and that's the reason why we're here. Because the parking lot is so small.
Are there any other comments from the public?
This Vice Chair, I just want to add that my office has not received any comments. The notices went out within 300 feet of this property requesting any comments, and I have not received any.
Thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case? Is there anyone here who would like to comment on this case?
Are you talking to public?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Since we have no additional comments from the public, we will take a vote to close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
Second, yep.
It has been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The public hearing is now closed. Any comments from the board on this variance?
I have a question. Will they be adding any additional staff because of the addition to the building?
No, they won't. Zenobia, could we make a motion first to approve and then do discussion?
I'm sorry,
please?
yes.
That's
Is there
okay.
a motion on the case J200045?
So moved, Ostash.
Support Nash.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the case J200045. All in favor of that motion? I'm sorry, is there any discussion first? Appreciate it. Discussion, please.
Is that this, my question still remained then?
Mhm.
So there is no additional staff, and the addition does not warrant a lot of additional customers then, because it's just an office and a cooler.
Yes,
that right?
correct.
Okay. Good. I have no other.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
I just have a question for Cassie. This is Ostash. And Cassie, I was trying to find right now, how many parking spots do they have again? I was trying to remember. Okay, okay. So the zoning was going to say they need 8 more spaces?
Yeah, so it's kind of strange how the zoning ordinance is written. So the planning commission kind of decided that the way that it was written, that's how they saw it. So they wanted them to get a variance.
Okay.
This property, and Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know Bob or the owner, has 2 pumps. And the way that the zoning ordinance is written, they need to have additional parking spaces based on how many pumps they have and how many people can park at either side of the islands.
Right.
No,
Okay.
and let me just add to that. It has more to do with the islands itself. The zoning ordinance states that you have to have so many parking spaces, and it's a minimum of 4 per island. And the argument here is that it really should be based upon the number of pumps, because fuel stations these days, they have a lot more pumps per island than perhaps what they had when they wrote this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what, that's what I was questioning too, because it looks like here that, you've only got 2 employees there at one time. And I've been by this station many times. And, you never see the islands are full. So this might be a takeaway for me to address after the meeting with my colleagues.
Yeah, plus this has already been before zoning a few years back, many years back.
I
when
saw
it first
that.
opened. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is kind of like a double jeopardy on them, because this, I think, should have been taken care of before this.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at it. We're doing a facade restoration, and yet it fell over to the zoning department. And but the reason why I brought that up, Jack, and everybody on the commission, is that we've heard that before, where a lot of our ordinances call for a lot of parking that may not be needed, and then you have extras. So that's why I said, Cassie, I'm probably going to follow back with maybe the manager on this too, and our attorney afterwards. Okay, thanks. That's all I have. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, the other thing, looking at this proposal, it is an addition to the city. It's a business to the city, and just because they're adding parking places, I just think there's a discrepancy in the wording from a legal point of view.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited to see what they're doing, because you're right. This was just redone not too long ago, and so now they're going to add on to it. So this is great.
Any other discussion from the board? Case J200045 has been moved for approval and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Abstentions? Case J200045 for a variance request on parking has been approved. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the 2020 meeting calendar. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve, Dennis.
Support, Jack.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the 2020 meeting calendar. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. We have a 2020 meeting calendar that has been approved. Please note that accordingly. We now move to old business. Is there any old business for the board's consideration? Hearing none, we'll move on to public comment. Are there any general comments from the public that they'd like to present to the board at this time? Hearing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is adjournment. Do I hear a motion?
So
Well,
moved.
one moment before we adjourn, I want to mention, this is Bruce Gale. Again, this was my paper route when I was a kid. That was the corner that I picked up my papers in back in the 50s. Now we can adjourn.
Okay.
Thank you, Will.
It is so needed. It is so needed.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Support Oshkosh.
The meeting stands adjourned.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
To vote on the motion.
Do we have to vote on that, Amy? Amy?
Okay, vote to adjourn.
Right. All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Yay.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
No.
Thank you. Now the meeting is adjourned.
All right.